Hello, Tendent micro podcast listening community and viewing community. Mike McCarthy here with my co-host Matthew Petchel.
Hello.
And we have a dynamo of a guest. I've been waiting for her calendar to clear up so we could get her on the show. Friend of mine forever. I actually should just call her a friend and mentor. Dr. Joy Void-Holmes, one of my favorite top all-time educators, lecturers, key opinion leader, podium presenter. We'll get into more, but honored to have you, Dr. Joy Void-Holmes.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Welcome.
I wish I could bring you with me every time I speak and literally have you introduce me. That would be awesome.
Maybe there's something there.
I would love to do it. Anytime you do need it, I'll come running.
Yes.
We had a guest on the podcast a few weeks back who is making a robot for dental practices, and I think maybe they could make the Mike McCarthy version.
Yes.
Not for dental practices, but for people in the industry who need that uplift that
Yes.
Michael provides. Right? He's he's such a wonderful supporter and cheerleader of so many people, and so it's great to have you, Joy.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the invite. I'm always honored, and I told Mike I'm never going to tell him no. So I am just grateful to be here. So thank you both.
Joy, you have been a fixture on the dental education, and I don't mean just hygiene. I mean everyone in the clinical practice. Joy, so many of our listeners contact Matthew and I, and they're like, listen, we'd love to get it. We're very big on this product or this segment. We'd love to get into speaking. What is your secret sauce? I've been in rooms with you with 1,000 people, with 100 people, and no one ever nods off or is distracted.
Right.
Let's start before we get into the dental side of things. What do you think your secret sauce is that keeps your audiences so engaged?
Say number one, it would be my authenticity. If I don't know it, I'm going to say I don't know it. I'm not afraid to ask someone in the audience if they have the answer. As they say, the answer is always in the room. I would say, secondly, I don't talk over people. I believe you need to meet people where they are, no matter where they are on their educational journey, where they are in life. And I would say three, my humor. I think CE oftentimes in dentistry, I know it's science-based, it's evidence-based, but that can be very boring. So you have to be able to just laugh with the people in the room, laugh at yourself if you made the mistake, don't run and hide in a corner.
We try to have a nice broad range of people on this podcast, right? But the one thing that they mostly share in common is that they're experts in whatever they're doing. And it's probably used a little too loosely, by people who maybe aren't experts, but maybe are smart people and, hardworking people, but not necessarily experts. And it's funny. The media in general, sort of celebrates experts, which is really, really good. But no one is really an expert on everything. A lot of people get up and they're like, well, I'm an expert on this. So I could literally talk about anything hygiene related. I'm an expert. I can do this. And I mean, to me, what you said is a real expert knows when they're not an expert in something, right? I mean, it's kind of like one of the but one of the characteristics of a true expert is knowing that. And so how did you become an expert? Let's go there. Like
Good
your
question.
journey, it takes years or hours, thousands of hours. But tell us about your journey.
I started working in dentistry when I was 16. I needed a summer job. And at the time, when you were a resident of DC, I had a summer job program. And we waited too late that year to apply. So my job would have been to clean up trash. And my mother said, absolutely not. I always loved my dentist. She called my dentist, Dr. Juanita Rhodes, and said, could you please give her a job? And it was at that time that, I was front desk answering phones, but I got to watch the business of dentistry, but I actually got to watch a woman and then a Black woman, just very professional, extremely smart, just so well dressed, always dressed. And I'm like, I want to be that. Went to school for accounting and I'm like, yeah, this isn't it. And so she encouraged me to go to dental hygiene school. She said, don't do dental school, do dental hygiene school first, because you're going to spend 4 or 8 years in dental school and you may not like it. Go the dental hygiene route first. I did, and I fell in love with the preventative aspect of dentistry. So I would say what really got me started, and I got to, I think it was my first or second day temping ever. I worked with Dr. Neil Starr, who is a periodontist slash prosthodontist. And when I say this man then instill practices to the absolute top of his profession. And he just pulled it all out of me. I mean, people would say, "You're crazy to work there. Aren't you afraid?" I'm afraid every day, but I knew that I was going to get what I needed. And so it was there that I learned to be a student of dentistry. And of course, I'm a career student. And I would say for me, what makes me an expert is that I never stop learning. I'm always in someone else's CE courses. Even from an instrumentation standpoint, there's not a lot of instrumentation courses out there. Anna Pattison, who is to me the absolute guru of instrumentation, I flew out to California to see her for one day. It was literally a down and back. And she's like, "You came to see me just for a day." Absolutely. I've had someone come over from Denmark and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I love the way that you talk instrumentation. Can you come over and train my team?" So yes, me, Dr. Joy, I still want people to pour into me, and I'm always going to continue to seek information. So from a clinical standpoint, that helps to make me, I don't like to use expert. It just makes me very good at what I do.
Sure. Yeah. And
Awesome.
it's, yeah, there's different words that fit it, but we use the term expert because I don't know, we're lazy and we're old and lazy, and we like that word, I guess.
She is an expert. I mean,
Yeah.
aside from being a scientist, nutrition guru, educator, published author, you name it, you qualify on all those things. Joy, one of my favorite parts of your journey is your philanthropic side of giving back. And I know as an educator of next generation students, we have Matthew and I are two old guys here, but we have a huge student following on the podcast. And I think it's because we provide some real world, not ivory tower,
Mhm.
real people talk, real people talk. The question we get asked, and I will say it, I know it's changing the demographic, but probably mostly female, are the hygiene students and their expectations going out. What advice do you give to your exiting students or your interns or whoever, whatever form? What is Dr. Joy's advice to entering the workforce?
Be patient, be flexible, be open. And then I would say you have to find the office that matches you.
Right.
And I think oftentimes, we may have one value system and the office has another value system, and we try to force it. And not saying one is right, one is wrong, but we try to force it and it doesn't work. I have a student, and I'm going to say her name is Amber, loved Amber. And I just remember Amber was always so slow. And we joked, and I'm like, "You need to get out of here and you need to find an office and a dentist who works as slow as you." And she sent me the sweetest message maybe 2 years after she graduated. And she said, "I found someone who was just as slow as me." And it was like, voila. It worked. But I would, yeah, just be patient. You have to be patient. I didn't get good overnight, but I had to be willing to make the mistakes. I had to be willing to accept the criticism, even if it wasn't always the most professional. I took it because there's always a little lesson in there, and it'll come. It'll definitely come.
Right.
If you're in this business to make money, run because it's gonna spit you up. It's gonna chew
Yeah.
you up and spit you out.
Well, it's obvious, right? And that's probably true in most industries, is that if you're just in it for the money, it becomes pretty clear.
Yeah.
Your point is excellent in dental practices, they're all snowflakes, really. They're all different in some way, whether it's the number of people, where the type of office, the type of patient, the speed at which things happen, the amount of technology in the practice. And it's a good point that just because you don't fit somewhere doesn't mean there's something wrong with you, right? I mean, that's really it. It just means that maybe there's something wrong with them, or maybe there's nothing wrong with anybody. And it's just, hey, we're not a good fit. And it's such good advice. And mentoring is, your point is also that if you hadn't have said that, Amber would have probably quit it and gone on and done something else that
Sure.
maybe she would be like, but maybe not. And if she loves what she's doing now, so how do you, what is it in you that made you be such a good mentor? Like, is it just in you? Was it your parents? Was it something you read, somebody you saw? What's your
I had
mentor?
so many good mentors, older mentors throughout my journey. I mean, people who were not afraid to pull me to the side. One of the best life lessons I got, I believe I was 16 or 17, and she said, anything you say out your mouth is always going to get back. So you don't ever say anything that you don't want repeated. So I would say, because I had so many people to genuinely pour into me and still pour into me, I want to be able to be that person to give back.
Right.
And then you see such a difference that you can make in people's lives. And so I think sometimes for people, it's innate. You're kind of born with it. Genuinely love helping people. I've seen my mother do it, my father do it. I'm married to a man. We pour into our community. I'm like, gosh, if we could just flip what we do and make money, we'd never have to work again. But we just
Right.
genuinely love helping people, and I see it in my kids. And so I would say I love it. I love it when
Maybe that's an interesting point, is like, if you're at a job and you can't find a mentor at that job, if you can't identify someone there that is helping you, then you're probably in the wrong place, right? Because you can only do so much. We can all only do so much on our own, especially early in our career. We just don't know as much. I mean, so we need that.
And help is fine. It looks different on every person. Help
Yeah.
isn't always going to be, "Oh, sweetie, it's going to be okay. Let me pull you." And no, sometimes the help is get it together, wipe your tears. This is how you do it. Now go do
Right.
it. Looks very different.
I love it. I'm gonna switch gears up here on you, Joy. You talk on a myriad of topics and educate on a myriad, whether it be infection control,
Mhm,
whether it be instrumentation usage.
mhm.
What do you say to your colleagues who are out there running to get CE on AI or 3D printing? I mean, yeah, it's sexy, it's sizzle, etc. But do you believe we as a profession need fundamentals and foundations? And
Yes, yes, yes. And I have the best analogy for this. I would probably say the majority of your listeners are sports enthusiasts, whether it be football, basketball, baseball. And if you ask a veteran, the one thing they hate is training camp. Why? Because it's all the basics. But there's a reason why those fundamental principles, those basic principles are reviewed time and time and time again, because they actually will help to make or break the success of that team. And it's the same thing in dentistry. I often talk to people who are struggling or go into offices, listen to consultants, and sometimes it's the most basic things that are really affecting the practice. So we can't get away from those. You can't.
Right.
right,
Yeah. Talent is, it's funny. Talent shows itself, right?
Yeah.
And you don't need to think about it. You know what I mean? Somebody who's got talent just does it. It's innate. But fundamentals are not, right? Fundamentals are just repetitive, taught over and over. It's such a great point. What's the biggest difference between, when you were taking CE and the younger, like the early career hygienist, and the ones you see today? What's the biggest difference?
Think the biggest difference for me then is that we were going to CE to be educated. And I think oftentimes people want to be entertained now. And that's hard because you
Yeah.
have to be able to play to your end user, if you will. But this is still dentistry. It is still science. We still have to educate you. And I can't always be on stage like it's showtime at the Apollo, right? I have
Right.
to be able to mix it up. I would say that is the biggest difference. But I will say that there are more hygienists who are able to speak to not just hygienists now, we're able to speak to dentists and
Right.
practice owners and things of that nature, which is good because we have a lot to offer as well.
all right, since we're the micro podcast, I'm gonna wrap it up with the final one. And if you don't think we're having you back, you're sorely mistaken.
Crazy.
There's about 100 things I want to cover, but Joy, transparency and reality is what we want to put forth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You know the situation out there between dentists and hygienists,
Yeah.
and we've the supply, demand, net worth, misunderstanding of business.
Hmm.
If you could give one piece of advice to both dentists and hygienists who are listening, we don't want kumbaya here. We understand it's a profession. We understand you are delivering vital health services to all of your patients.
Hmm.
But what's your take on how we can stop this petty infighting of you don't appreciate me, you don't understand me as a business owner? What's your take?
My biggest takeaway is that they both need to learn the business. Hygienists don't understand that you are the second biggest producer in that office, and you need to learn the business of dental hygiene. And within that business structure, you are still able to offer patient care. I think the more that we can get dentists and dental hygienists taking the same CE courses instead of a dental track and a dental hygienist track and an assistant track, if we could somehow get them to take courses together, that would be one way, but understanding that there is a business structure, and I think they both have missed the ball on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, and even just the simple fact of a dentist and hygienist sitting together and taking it, or maybe they're taking it both at their house or whatever, but doing the same course together, there's like a mindset shift, right? Which is so, and it's not like, and it sort of removes the barrier of sort of hierarchy in a way. And I mean, everybody knows that the dentist is the business owner and all that, but that doesn't mean it needs to just be constantly like, remember, I'm here and you're here. Right? Let's do some stuff together. And I think it's a great point. And I think if that alone would help both sort of mindsets shift just a little bit closer to kind of, I don't know, a happier place.
I bring it up because I've sat in numerous talks of joys that do just this. I see the teams working together, and I get it. The dentist is the business owner, but one that appreciates the team and understands their language, which in turn is the same language. It's just, and you don't see them on social media bitching and moaning. You see content people, and even if they're not content, they work it out somehow.
Yeah.
There's respect.
Excellent point.
Well, speaking of respect, you have my highest respect. I can't thank you enough for being on the 10 Dent Micro podcast. You can find Dr. Joy Void-Holmes on drjoyrdh.com. Look at her speaking agenda, her calendar. Everybody needs to learn from Dr. Joy, and I sure have. So thank you, Joy.
Thank you, Joy. And it sounds like Joy is going to start juggling instruments to entertain while she's teaching. That's kind of what I took away there which there might be something to that.
There may be. I'm always looking at my bag of tricks like, I got them at the end today. How am I going to keep them up? But thank you both so much.
We'll have you back. Thanks, Dr. Joy. Everybody, like, subscribe, share, and if you're one of the millions of fans of Dr. Joy, put it out there.
Thanks, Dr. Joy.